Hi, this is Johnny from ultimatepapermache.com, and today I want to show you a piece that I did as a decoration. First intended for it to be a Halloween decoration, but she doesn't look very scary to me, so I think I'm just going to keep her on my wall. I kind of like her. This is an experiment. I used some techniques that I have not done before, so if you're following along with me, remember that I have no idea how long this is going to last or how fragile it is. I don't think this is something that you'd want to use for an important piece of work, but if you want something that's fast, boy, it worked out really good. I used as a model this photograph by Edward Curtis. It was taken back in 1924. I love that bone structure. She has a face that I just have a real strong connection to. I really liked her. This is the beginning of the armature, just a plastic bag stuffed with some insulation. You could use it about anything. I attached it to a pool noodle, so I'd have something to hang on to. Wrapped it up with a whole lot of masking tape into a skull shape, and then just kept adding, poking and pushing and adding more paper until I had a basic armature for the face. I did not try very hard to get any detail with the plastic bag and paper, because I knew that all of the detail was going to go on with the clay over the plastic bag. Once the basic armature was done, I covered it with the sculptor's clay. It's a water-based clay that I bought from Georgie's in Portland. I wasn't trying real hard to get an exact likeness of Our Lady, because this is a display piece that I wasn't terribly serious about it when I started, although I like her a lot better than I thought I would once it was done. What I actually wanted to find out when I started this project was what would happen if I create a piece using wet potter's clay like this, and then cover it while it's wet with a layer of the Ultimate Paper Mache clay recipe, what my readers are calling Johnny clay. If I have those two wet layers together and allow them to dry together, would they dry and kind of wrinkle up as they shrink and make myself a nice old lady skin look? Well, the answer to that is no, but because of a few accidental things I did with the project, it turned out with some kind of interesting results. The most important one is that I was able to complete this project in 2 days. Now, the first accident I did, the unintentional experiment, if you will, was to finish the modeling too much with the water-based clay. So I didn't really leave enough room for a normal 1/8 inch or 1/4 inch layer of the paper mache. In order to actually use the paper mache recipe, I had to make it a whole lot thinner so that it wouldn't totally obscure all of the details that I'd put in with the other kind of clay. So what I did was I used a whole lot more boiled linseed oil than I normally would. Instead of 1 tablespoon, I think I used about 4 tablespoons, maybe even a little bit more. Just kind of dumped it in there. And after it got mixed up, it really was a lot thinner. Actually so thin that I was not able to apply it the way I normally do with a knife. I just had to switch over to a brush. And what that did was create a kind of very textured layer of paper, but really actually a paper thin layer of the paper mache product. It was extremely thin, didn't cover up any of the details, but it was also a kind of icky texture. So in order to get that smoothed out, I dipped my soft brush in some more boiled linseed oil. If you use the linseed oil, be sure to read those directions or the label. It does have some warning labels on there, so be sure and read them. But I used that, and it smoothed it out. It didn't completely cover all the texture, but it ended up with a texture that was really quite pleasant. Once that was done, I went ahead and scored some wrinkles in there where the lady needed some, and I put her in my greenhouse window so she have a nice warm spot to dry. It was probably about 80 degrees in there, so she dried really quickly. Then I made up a kind of a goopy mixture using a little bit of the leftover paper mache clay recipe. I took that out of the and put it in a small bowl, mixed up a little bit more white glue and joint compound in there to make a really thick, like a gesso or a really thick paint. And I actually added a little bit of pigment. I was hoping it would be human colored. It turned out to be a bit tangerine-y, but nonetheless, in the end, it turned out reasonably close as I added a few more glazes and fiddled a little bit with the paint job. I emphasized those wrinkles with a final glaze of acrylic glazing liquid and burnt umber, and then just rubbed that off and allowed it to dry, added my varnish. Now she's looking pretty human, very close to the original that I was looking at. In order to get some hair on there, I just taped some black and white wool onto her head. As you can see, the back was not finished at all. This isn't a finished project really, but close enough. And then she was pretty much done. I just added a scarf that I made out of an old piece of burlap, and voila, as they say. there she is. She's fragile. That's the one thing that I want to warn you about. If you decide that you want to use the techniques that I've just described in this video, know that if it's banged up very much at all, if you tried to use this as a mask in a play, or if you even tried to remove the face from the armature, it's going to break apart. But the way it turned out, I kind of liked her. So that's our project. Come visit us, ultimatepapermache.com.